What's up, otakus? It's your tour guide here, and hope everybody's having a great weekend. I I had a pretty good, relaxing Sunday with my son. Um, didn't do much. Uh, Got some pizza, watched some movies. Uh, simple, simple weekend. Actually, I think probably you're not hearing me right now. How's that? That should be better. um, Testing, testing. There we go. So as I was saying, I hung out with my son today, uh, got some pizza, watched movies, just a very chillax weekend, and kind of slowly working on a comic book with my son, um, kind of giving him the. So there's a wraparound cover, and it's my son is sort of the protagonist in this one. Again, short comic book, just going to try to have fun with it. But I did sort of a 233, not breaking of the chains, but just my son in a, you know, arms folded kind of Superman pose. All right, so today we're continuing to count down my top 10 artists lists. And one thing notable, which I haven't covered in previous videos because we're already through number 10 and number 9. Today we're focusing on number 8 on my top 10 list, and that is Alex Ross. Um, Alex Ross entered the list last year, and reluctantly so. Now, I have been a fan of Alex Ross since his sort of debut. Well, it's not debut, but his sort of quintessential debut, I should say, on Kingdom Come, which remains just a great uh, Elseworld story. So it's not continuity, but it is an Elseworld story. And what I like about, I can't speak to when the first use of the term metahuman was used, uh, but it was used in the Kingdom Come book. This concept of Earth being overrun with metahumans, people with superpowers, kind of like the X-Men in that sense, right? Just people waking up, finding out they have some innate uh, superhuman ability. And it really is about what's separate, like you having power versus you having the mindset of a hero, right? You can have all the power in the world, but if you don't have the mindset of a hero, then you're just really um, you're not helping, right? So Kingdom Come explores really that thin line between what separates uh, being a hero versus being somebody with just a lot of power and their view of justice, kind of like being like a fascist type superhero, right? And explore, lots of themes in that story, but it's just really great. But anyway, ever since that Mark Waid, Alex Ross uh, seminal work, I've been a fan of Alex Ross, but I was not like won over in terms of him being one of my favorite artists. I just really liked his artwork, but I tend not to like the hyper realistic type artists. And that's what Alex Ross is. At its core, he's kind of like, Leonardo da Vinci in that sense, right? He just has this really sort of realism take on artwork, especially in comics. And that doesn't always translate well for sequential comic book storytelling. Um, in fact, it doesn't really translate well at all because there are just things in comic books that kind of, the line work, shading, creating like certain tones and all that, that you lose when you try to make some kind of like a realistic photo versus something that's penciled and inked and colored, right? So you lose a lot of the sort of the real essence of the comic book uh, when um, things are too kind of, you know, they look like oil paintings essentially, right? But Alex Ross has really been able to um, make that sort of transition, meaning his comic book artwork and that realistic style um, really, I think, in certain ways can enhance um, the comic book experience. So again, initially I was not a fan of uh, Alex Ross, and then last summer I picked up a book called Mythology, where he just basically redesigns the entire DC like scope of characters in his style, and kind of read up on his background and just realized, man, this is just like a once in a lifetime. Let's just put it this way: it's not once in a lifetime. There are people who kind of copy what he does and does what he does in that realistic sense, but the the personality, the realism that he brings to these DC characters, and he hasn't changed that. Like once he introduces Superman as a certain look or Batman as a certain look, that has remained consistent. He has not gone back, and I mean he might make Superman a little younger in certain panels versus like when he was first introduced. Um, but yeah, his core of DC designs that's remained uh, the same. He hasn't changed it at all because he has a really sort of under like solid understanding of what these characters should look like and has molded that into his representation. So it's really a sight to behold. I really appreciate his high comic book IQ in that sense. Um, as a fan of comic books, because he grew up reading comic books, grew up like most of us, just loving it. And that's what got him into drawing and whatnot. So he really has the legacy of comic books to credit for his success in ultimately what he would end up doing anyway. So, but with that being said, like, yeah, Alex Ross was not in my top 10. He cracked the top 10 last year, and now he's moved up 2 spots to number 8. And we're going to get to 10 Superman related covers to kind of showcase and feature the number 8 artist on my list. Now, with that being said, there were 2 artists that have kind of perennially been on the list that are no longer uh, on the list. And one of those artists is Marc Silvestri. Marc Silvestri was always kind of on the list. He has departed the list. And part of that reason is I really kind of shifted my focus to DC in terms of my collection. And and Mark just really recently put out a Batman book. I just was not impressed by the artwork in that book. And as great of an artist as he is, I just think like, they're just better artists. And so he will always remain one of my favorites. But, you know, again, this is a fluid, people come, people go kind of list. But yeah, this top of mind this year has been Alex Ross stuff. Now, with that also being said, like Mike Zeck is now off the list. Peach Momoko, who I was really a big fan of Peach Momoko, but then we got inundated with like her covers, where to be honest, she just wasn't. She was just kind of putting out covers to be putting out covers. She was. They were kind of half-ass covers, to be honest. And then, again, I think she's in the realm of doing something really like she can do sequential comic book artwork. Uh, and it's not really manga style, it's her own style, which is beautiful to behold. Um, but I feel like her strengths are giving you one really big canvas style ink work, right? Um, and there are limitations to what you can do with a brush in terms of coloring, in terms of line work, and so it's not really the comic book, much like Alex Ross, right? It's not really comic book uh, art. It's actually something really much cooler, but only when she puts her, kind of like full effort in. And I feel like she's just kind of like just going through the motions these days. And when an artist does that, it's just always so evident. And, Jim Lee does that too. Do you see Jim Lee kind of phoning it in from time to time? But man, when he's like doing something where the juices are flowing. Hey, Ron, what's up? How you doing, man? Oh, nice. Where's your son? Is he stationed somewhere? Maybe you can't talk about it. I am feeling a lot better, thank you. Back is still achy, but China. Okay, cool. Is he working out there? That's some that's China's a very interesting place. Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, I was an English teacher too, um, in Japan, and you get to meet I mean, it's such a good experience. I would recommend any person um, to live and teach overseas. Now you're obviously going to get tired of it at some point, um, but the good part is if you are able to kind of make those transitions and really adapt to life there, can be really amazing experience. But yeah, you will you will miss home, and it is um, like it's a lot of learning about a new culture, how things how people think and do things in a different part of the world. So it really is an education as well as a positive experience. Oh, wow, 9 years. So he's adapted quite well then. Yeah, most people go after a year or two. They're like, I'm out. You know, you saw that happening in Japan all the time. You see these zealous Americans go over there. Oh yeah, we love Japan, all this, and then they don't last more than 2 years. They get burnt out and head back. I kind of was like that in Japan. I lasted 3 years with my wife, but I definitely was feeling incredible. Wow, those are all amazing places. Yeah, that's the thing. That's another thing. If you're living abroad, you have more opportunity to just kind of travel as well, because that's one thing I always took advantage of. Like, you know, when school was out or had wanted to take some vacation time or just go on a flight somewhere for a long weekend, it was pretty accessible to just fly to a nearby destination. And Asia definitely, yeah, Asia is definitely just all around you. So, you can kind of plan a lot of trips like that. All right, cool. Well, all right, let's get to the books. We are going to start here with. Let me get the books out of here. We are going to start here. First off, I'm going to share my screen here. I really like this new setup I have going on. Think it, for all intents and purposes, it's good for showing off books. All right, we're going to start with number 10, and number 10 is just it's kind of a fan favorite these days. Crypto here. This is really kind of showcases Alex Ross's brilliance as a comic book artist. And the reason being was you have Crypto, who in the comic books, there's no real sense. I don't know if there's like a guidebook somewhere that tells you what kind of breed or dog that Crypto is. But he's Kryptonian, right? So you got to think these earthly dog breeds would not match what a Kryptonian dog should be. And what Alex Ross understands is, well, yeah, but we still got to kind of framework. He's a dog, right, at the end of the day. So even if he's some kind of mutt or whatever, we have to. I'm gonna give him a real dog-like image or personality, and I think what he does here is he kind of melds what looks like a pit bull for sure. There's a little pity in Ross's Crypto, but I also think there's a little bit like of like a I don't want to say Great Dane, but kind of like those kind of dogs, like a Great Dane or a Dalmatian, or something we're kind of like a hero dog, right? We're talking about dogs that kind of do a little, not necessarily a shepherd, but something along those lines. There's just a lot of sort of like tones of like hero dog in this Crypto mutt breed, and that's the thing. He's a mutt, but he's obviously monotonal. He's white, as he is in the comic book, and then he's just got this like series of like characteristics that kind of make him sort of an every dog, right? But yeah, he just I mean, Alex Ross just blows it out of the park with this rendition of Crypto, with the collar and the little dog tag there. Just brilliant. And so this kind of exploded onto the scene as like an instant $40 book. People are still clamoring for it on eBay. You see sales of this just across the board all the time, consistently in the $20 range. And I picked up 3 copies, all high grade copies. I have them kind of as trade fodder, or they're for sale, but I definitely will not sell one of them. I'm going to keep one for the collection for sure. This is Superman 680, and again, showcasing the brilliance of Alex Ross as we kind of get in now. And number 9 on my list is Kingdom Come. Yeah, we've got this great wraparound cover. This is actually issue 2. No, this is the premiere issue, sorry. Right? No, this may be the second issue. Yeah, this is issue number 2. No, it is a premiere. Might be the premiere issue. Yeah, it's the premiere issue. Oh, they don't have it numbered. Is it numbered right there? No, it's the second issue, book 2. Okay. But it's this great wraparound with all the metahumans. Look at Hawkman right there. Just looking like a beast, man. Power Girl there. This is just a great wraparound cover. And sort of an elder statesman in terms of his representation of Clark and Superman, kind of giving you the classic Superman vibes. What's the guy's name? George Reeves, giving you some George Reeves vibes there. With the sort of the kind of like the older, out of shape kind of wrestler body there. Okay, cool, Ron. Yeah, 680 was I don't know if it's that. I think it's more modern 680. I want to say that the Alex Ross book came out like 2000 something. But yeah. Who is the old gray haired dude? Okay. Okay, so yeah, this is he's a character that's introduced. He ends up having these visions, and it's because he's going to be witness to the destruction, the end of the Armageddon, basically. So there's all this like sort of prophecy type stuff, and like he's witnessing all these like visions of things marking the end of humanity. And there's this question of, is Superman and Wonder Woman and all these sort of quote unquote Justice League type heroes, are they doing the right thing, or are they doing the things that are going to lead to the end of humanity? And again, it's a really cool story how it unfolds, and I'm not going to give away the ending, but there's just some plot twists that end up happening. And it's a must read. I'd say Kingdom Come is, as far as modern comic books go, a must read. Now, what's cool is, this is not continuity. It's obviously its own story, but you can definitely take elements of the story. And I saw them doing that here in the world that James Gunn is building up. You see the reference to metahumans. You see that um, there are some metahumans that are kind of out there doing their best, and then there are some metahumans that are you're not sure, like what their agenda is and all that. So it's just sort of like this chaotic soup of people with superpowers, and I think ultimately maybe this question will get addressed. Like what's the point of the Justice League, right? The Justice League is kind of there to recruit, but also kind of set the standard of we're the people that are going to defend Earth and have Earth's best interest, and um, have the moral fortitude to do the right thing, even though it puts our lives at risk and all that. So again, true heroes in that sense. So uh, hope James Gunn does kind of borrow from this more to bring up that kind of setting, right, or scenario where metahumans are fighting against other metahumans, and it's Superman and Justice League have to bring the smack down. they have to bring the pain. All right, moving right along. This next cover, this is number 8 on our top 10 list here as we cover Alex Ross. It's this great wraparound, or I should say connecting cover. It's a connecting cover without really being a connecting cover. It's an implied connecting cover, I should say. So we've got the Legion of Doom. That's such a great Legion of Doom. Just going to give you a sense to look at it here. If you watch Saturday morning cartoons, this is the Legion of Doom. Minus the... You don't really see Lex Luthor there, though. That's the big sort of missing component. But man, Black Manta, Cheetah, Mr. Cold or Mr. Freeze. I think he's called Mr. Cold or something like that. Solomon Grundy looks absolutely just horrific. And then you got Bizarro there, the backward S. Such goodness there. And then you got the other side of the pond here, the heroes. So yeah, just a really, really incredible cover, again, showcasing how first off, it's not even a matter of understanding, it's how much Alex Ross loves these characters. And that's what you kind of see in his artwork. You see the passion, you see the love, you see the deep understanding of who these characters are and how he brings the heroic qualities of each hero right out. He makes them very kind of godlike, majestic type heroes, with sort of an epic scale about them. And that's something, again, the hyperrealism stuff aside, that's something as just a typical comic book artist where you're just making them a little bit more cartoony in the sense, you lose that aspect, right? With the hyperrealism, these heroes become like lifelike. They end up having a very lifelike, noble quality about it, which I think, again, I love comic book art, but sometimes what you lose in the traditional sense of comic book art, you gain with just panels like this with all the detail and just incredible stuff. So Alex Ross is definitely probably here to stay on my list. All right. This is interesting because it's a Jim Lee Alex Ross collaboration, meaning Alex Ross finishes in his style essentially a Jim Lee sketch. So this is a Jim Lee sketch, kind of painted and colored by Alex Ross. And it's a really great collaboration, to be honest. Like, you just see, like, first off, understanding how Jim Lee sketches. You see Alex Ross just kind of take over in terms of, like, yeah, I'm gonna make this really come to life, make it pop. And he just takes that sketch and kind of runs with his style, and the effect is just incredible. So Alex Ross showing you, man, he can take any artist and kind of render it his own and still make it amazing. But look at that Batman, that Jim Lee Batman profile sketch, so unmistakable, and it really kind of comes out in this. And this is one of my favorite pieces by Alex Ross. So it's just a $1 comic, but the only time you see Jim Lee and Alex Ross collaborating on a piece. I did not try the cinnamon, but the ants are kind of taking a break, I guess, today. They're just always like kind of scoping for food, I think. But luckily we don't. Well, my son leaves crumbs here and there, but we do a pretty good job of cleaning, so hopefully they don't. And we have ant traps. We use ant traps, but I don't even think we have cinnamon in the house. I'm just trying to think. We don't keep much spice, like traditional spices, in the house. So, but I will try that. I think next time I'm gonna. I think I have cinnamon at work. I'm gonna try to borrow some cinnamon and just kind of put in the crevices of my room here. Yeah, it's so this is the thing. It's like he took Jim Lee Superman and kind of Alex Ross sized it, and I like it. I actually think it like, if you were to look at this like, other than this part here, this is definitely Jim Lee, the Batman there. But everything else just is like, nah, Jim Lee didn't do this. Really? Like, it's just kind of like begs the question, like, did he really sketch this? But man, yeah, it just has this it has this sort of like a Renaissance kind of painting feel to it, especially with the Hawkman coming like out of the sky and all that. Just, it has this, like, right? Am I the only one? It just has this really like Renaissance style to the whole bit, the whole piece there. Really cool. All right, so we got that was number 7. Number 6 on our list. This is another great Superman. This is the what is it? Earth 1 Superman. He's on trial for something. I never read this book, so I'm not too familiar with it. But this is Alex Ross cover work goodness there. So love that depiction of Superman right there. Really, really nice. Notice that's the S design that the design they went for the movie, right? Except with the primary colors. in the movie. Really cool. All right. And here's them. Here's Earth. The Continuity Superman versus the Earth 2 or Earth 1 Superman. Earth 1 is ours. I always get confused. Earth 1 is our Earth, our continuity, and Earth 2 is the Elseworld one. So, yeah, this paints a picture like, oh no, this dude's evil. No, that's what's going on here. Just the typical, come on, I gotta convince you by forcing you to believe in me. This is just I think the first book I picked up this summer for the Summer Superman pickups, early pickup, dollar pickup. And it's such a great book. Look at that. With the eyes and the smoke. You can tell he just kind of just used this heat ray to blast him, and now he's choking him out. It's incredible stuff. Especially when you contrast it with he had this cover here. You see such consistency in the design and in the dimensions and the anatomy. It's just a brilliant artist. Another one of them together here later in the issue. Love that, him coming down. This is a reminiscent of one of the panels in Kingdom Come. So kind of where Superman's just coming down from the sky, looking down at people. Such a good pose. And look at all the designs here on the faces and stuff. This is typically what you would see in the the Silver to Bronze Age DC book designs with the caricatures and all that. And man, Alex Ross just shows everybody up. Whoever did a cover like that, just pretty much outdoing everybody. Look at these great designs too. Oh, beautiful. All right, how many books we got left? We got 1, 2, 3 more books to show off. And so the top 3. And these are all incredible books. Gonna start here. This one, Superman's kind of covered up by a sticker, so hope you guys don't mind. But it's this great landscape cover, and with all the heroes there, the Justice League heroes. And I gotta say, man, this is just incredible stuff. Incredible stuff. Red Tornado. Got Flash there. Black Lightning. I mean, he just takes, again, he brings that realism, takes the world of comic books and just brings them to life. I mean, look at this Wonder Woman. My goodness. Right? She just looks so like she stepped out of the 50s Hollywood style. Got Black Canary there looking very, very hot. So yeah, all good stuff right there. This is, I think, the third print, the landscape cover. Um, the one I would recommend getting, because the other ones are like connecting covers, which is fine if you want to connect them and have more issues. That's fine, but kind of more about like just having the image there. Oof. All right. Now this was number one because I always do like top 10 Superman covers, and this is always up there in terms of my favorite Superman covers. But it's not number one on this list. It's number two. And we'll get to what number one is. But yeah, this is just Superman at like sunset, or yeah, I want to say dusk, right? And he's got the care to step outside General Zod pose where he's just hanging up in the air. Cityscape behind him. Absolutely beautiful in terms of the color and the lighting and the shading. The wrap, look how the cape is wrapped around him. Oh, just brilliant. Brilliant. And it really takes a true artist to kind of understand that everything that's going on in here. This is what makes Alex Ross. Like Alex Ross should be like he should be a painter doing like, I don't know, like portrait painting or something, like just like bringing people to life. But he decided to go and bring his childhood heroes to life, and we love him for it. We love him for it. Yeah, it's not Linda Carter. I'm glad he didn't make her Linda Carter though, because that would be creepy. But it kind of has her vibe to it. All right. Oh my goodness, are you serious? Oh man. Well, I hope. Yeah, that's. I hear people whose mothers throw away their stuff or whose dads throw away like card collect. I kind of was like that. I had a huge card collection, um, and I had some comic books as well. But all that stuff, as we moved around, parents just got rid of it. And in hindsight, some of the comics might have been worth something. Some of the cards here and there might have been worth something, but nothing like an Action One. Nothing where I'm like, oh man, I had that, and it's like, you know, maybe something that's like $40-$50 at most, but nothing like super valuable. So it wasn't. I never really got upset at my parents, or never really had an instance where it was like, oh man, I wish they hadn't done that kind of thing. But an Action One, that would be like, that's my grail of grails right there. I mean, just hearing that your dad had that book, like actually had it in his hands and owned it, is incredible enough. But whew, that would just break me right there if that happened to me personally. I don't know if I could recover from that. Yes, Linda Carter, we've already established, is the one and only Wonder Woman. Oh, that is crazy. That's got to be worth a lot too. The those are like the 12-inch figures or 10-inch figures. And nothing like, because the GI Joes from the 60s were like, you could dress them, just really different. They were kind of like Barbie dolls for kids. Yeah, the 12-inch figures. and there wasn't really like, I think he had 4 or 5 GI Joes at most, right? They didn't really have any villains. They were just like a bunch of army army figures, which is cool. But it wasn't until the like Larry Hama who put the story and the whole, it wasn't until the 80s that GI Joe became the thing that we all know and love today. All right, well, yeah, this number 2 again, just iconic piece. And we're gonna get to my number 1 Alex Ross Superman book, or Superman related book. And I may have to give this another cleaning. It's kind of dirtied up on me a little bit again. But we have the Superman Forever. And it's this lenticular cover where you start out with Clark Kent. I should do it this way. You start out with Clark Kent. He's starting to turn, opens up the shirt, and then in a flash, you see the boots. He's off. And this is my favorite because of the sort of the inaction type lenticular nature of this cover. Now the opening, so the A cover, just the still pieces where he's just opening up the shirt, which is a great image in and of itself, by itself, right? But when you see the motion here, that just makes this really, again, come to life. Like that's, I think, Alex Ross's whole MO is like, you can kind of see this is what you would imagine Superman just doing, like taking off the glasses, and in an instant he's in the air, right? Just like he would do it so quickly, no one would even if he's in a crowd of people, you just see him, and now you don't. It'd be just so quick. That is so awesome too. So yes, there you have it. A top 10 Alex Ross Superman related books, and I kind of want to go over. Cool. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yes. Yeah. I think the G.I. Joe, that's something I wish my mom, I had Transformers, I had G.I. Joe. That's something I wish my mom would have kept, or I should have kept. I think, I don't exactly remember. I had a box of toys, and then I went through puberty, and then I just kind of threw all my toys out, which I shouldn't have done, because those are worth a considerable amount of money. Well, I don't think G.I. Joe necessarily is worth a lot of money, because I did play with them. They weren't in the box or anything like that. So, all right. So I'm going to just give sort of like a bonus feature, some bonus books here, because these are kind of trending due to the recent crossover between Marvel and DC that's come out. So yeah, the Batman Deadpool book, which debuted I think last week, came out on New Comic Book Day. It featured the ending featured the reintroduction of Dark Claw, and it has sort of the comic book community abuzz and clamoring to get their hands on these 90s books. I just thought I would show off my 2 newsstand copies and give you a full dose of the DC printing of the book, which is done in the Batman Adventure style. And then, of course, the Marvel printing of the book. Again, they're printed under this amalgam, but yeah, DC and Marvel taking sort of different approaches to the book. And yeah, I prefer this cover because it has the whole 90s vibe there with the Batman Adventures theme. This one kind of is just like a more kind of a generic versus this stylistic one. So they're both great, though. You can't go wrong with either or. Legends of the Dark Claw and Dark Claw. And maybe these are both, I don't know, I feel like they're both maybe published by DC. Who knows? But they definitely give off the DC vibes, 90s DC vibes for sure. Yes, so that is cool. Yeah, those 60s judges are worth a lot of money too. I don't want to minimize having those. Yeah, I went looking for it too, and a couple days late. I don't know if it. So I went to the Belkirk Coin and Stamp, and I know he gets his comic books on time. I don't know if he sold, because he doesn't carry a lot of them. He puts out maybe 2 or like a couple copies. He doesn't even do many of the variants. He's just got like the standard sort of A cover or standard release. And I went looking for it, didn't have it. I kind of also am glad he didn't have it, because I think that book will come around again, and I could probably get it for $1 if I'm patient. But yeah, it's a hot book right now. Everybody kind of, that's the book collectors are wanting to get. And there's a lot of variant covers related to that. The Jim Lee variant is Batman and Wolverine sharing the cover. So Jim Lee has come full circle and is doing X-Men again on contemporary comic books, not like some sketch cover. This is actual continuity stuff. He's got Wolverine and Batman together on a cover. That's just insane if you're a Jim Lee fan. So that's definitely one I want to pick up. Again, I'm sure that's, if I'm patient enough, I'll run into it maybe for $5, maybe $10 or something. Maybe not. Maybe will be perpetually like $20, $30 book, but let's hope. Randy? Is this Randy's reader? Is it a different Randy? I was talking about Randy's Readers. I picked up a bunch of books from Randy's Readers. All right, that's maybe your local LCS guy. Randy's a good name. I like that name, Randy. So there you go. And it's, I hope everybody has a great work week coming up. Ron, hope you had a nice, relaxing weekend. Thanks for joining. I'm going to see you in the next one next Friday. I'm going to probably focus on number 7 artist. I mean, Alex Ross is great, but the artists get better from here on out. So what's up? What's up, B? Yeah, happy Thanksgiving, man. Hope everything's good. I saw you got the pink Batman action figure. Okay, gotcha. Thanks for popping in, man. We gotta do a Kryptonian Council kind of year-end thoughts on Superman and all that's going on. I mean, you're on top, right on top of everything going on with a character right now. So I'm just gonna get updates from you. But it looks like what I have read some of the Dan Mora Superman stuff, and they're building towards something big, which is really great to see. Like, I mean, this is like epic stuff that DC's rolling out this summer or into, I guess, now. But it should be good stuff. Happy Thanksgiving, Ron. Yeah. Hope you spend it with your loved ones and get a lot of good food. Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. No, I don't have the Action Comics with the Superman Lois Lane baby, the super baby with the huge brain. It is on my to get list. It is a Superman book as well. So yes, that's a cool book. Yeah, where are the kids doing like mathematics and all that? That's a fun book. All right, guys. Thanks for joining, and we're gonna everybody. If I don't see everybody for Thanksgiving, I probably will come on the Friday of Thanksgiving and do my next list. But I hope everybody happy holidays, everybody. It's that time of year, festive time of year. Let's all take care of one another and take care of each other. Take care of yourself, most importantly. But 54. Oof, man, that's big. That's great. That's great. All right, we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.